There was a couple that I knew personally. They went to my church, and they actually went to my adult Sunday school class together. And initially, they seemed, very loving, very kind to one another. And eventually, his wife started getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And it turned out she was diagnosed that she had a brain tumor. And so he would wheel her around in a wheelchair eventually. And then I ended up visiting her when she was basically on her deathbed and she couldn't even speak anymore. And he always seemed very doting and very loving, very kind to her. So eventually, of course, she died. She was only 49 years old, which is very sad. And I was able to then start to interact with their youngest son. And the youngest son eventually, over time, started to tell me that his dad was mean to his mom, and his dad was also mean to his siblings, and that as soon as they graduated, they moved out to get away from that abuse that was going on. And it was just emotional, it wasn't physical or sexual. And ultimately, as I got to know this boy, he started telling me that his father apparently was sexually abused by his own father. So the boy's grandfather abused his dad. And as I became aware of that, the Lord started to speak to me, and he said, listen, this is what happened is, the boy's father got sexually molested. He got demons because of that. He was hearing all these negative voices and so forth, causing him to be abusive to his wife and children. And he never got healed, never got delivered. He went to church his whole life and could not change those, could not stop the voices of the demons, never went through deliverance. And that was what he needed to do. And the church didn't believe in that. So sadly, it was a non-denominational church that I was attending at the time. And so ultimately, after learning all this, the Lord again revealed, why do you think she got the brain tumor? He goes, when a person's being emotionally abused, how does it affect them? I'm like, well, they hear it, right, in their ears, and that's where it comes into. He goes, yeah, and what's between their ears? Their brain. So ultimately, the negative words spoken over and over to her caused her to just continue to be negatively affected. And of course, there's tons of proof that if you are in an emotionally abusive situation, that's going to cause you to have oftentimes sickness and disease. So it's not a healthy place to be in whatsoever for anyone, whether it's a man abusing the wife or it's the wife emotionally abusing the husband. If you're in that environment, it's not